In 1264, one of the strangest sieges in history occurred as the Teutonic Knight-held fortress of Bartenstein came under siege by the pagan Prussians looking to slap Christianity back to where it came from. The Teutonic Knights had been establishing themselves in the Baltic since around 1230, looking to wipe out or convert the pagans under the pretext of a crusade, building numerous castles along the way to fortify their new holdings, and as you can imagine, these Prussian tribes weren't too happy about their new conquerors taking all of their lands. 1260 saw the beginning of a great Prussian uprising where they laid siege to many of the Teutonic held castles, with Bartenstein being one of them. However, by 1264 it was still holding out and was one of the last to fall to the Prussians. Unfortunately, I can't find much information about the castle of Bartenstein or images about the siege itself, so I can't tell you if the Teutonic Knights were students to the importance of the old medieval saying that went, if you make ditches, you get bitches. But we can take a look at other Teutonic castles built around the same time, such as Marburg, and it probably had similar design features to this, such as the ditches and subsequent bitches, as it was apparently built by a river. But likely less advanced than this, probably a stone keep and some wooden walls. The Prussian siege tactics of the time saw them build 3 smaller fortifications around the castle to cut off supply lines and communications into the castle, as well as 3 trebuchets to constantly bombard the defenders inside Bartenstein. However, the fortifications they had built were spaced too far apart, allowing the knights outside to launch raids and gather supplies. On the side of the Teutonic Knights, there was a local noble by the name of Miligado, who had such bravery in battle he was regarded by the Prussians as being worth half the defending garrison, so they challenged him to a one-on-one duel. However, in medieval siege warfare, there was no rules, and this was actually a trap to lure him to his death. He of course accepted this duel to show his skills in combat. However, when he was outside the castle he was jumped by hidden Prussians and now he was unable to retreat. So what he did, he chased the person he was supposed to duel, killing him while running, and then he ran further into a forest, escaping the Prussians' trap. He did eventually make it back to the castle, but the Prussians continued to set these traps and ambushes, and they eventually killed him in one, and their celebrations of killing such a heroic warrior were extremely over the top in order to piss off the defending Teutonic Knights. It of course had the desired effect, and in response to their boasting, the Teutonic Knights now hung 30 Prussian prisoners in full view of the besiegers, dampening their spirits and acting as a catalyst for intensified violence during the siege. The siege got even weirder though, as in one of their assaults outside the castle, the Teutonic Knights managed to steal a cooking pot that was used to cook meat of ritual sacrifices, causing fierce fighting over said cooking pot, where the Teutonic Knights managed to kill 1,300 Prussians, many of whom were passed out drunk as it was a religious holiday, and then the Teutonic Knights burnt down the siege forts of the Prussians. The Prussians returned though with more men and rebuilt their siege forts, as the situation for the Teutonic Knights was looking pretty dire, as they were running out of supplies and were forced to eat their own horses, as they were now looking for a way to escape this situation they were in. They set a trap one day, remaining in total silence, making the Prussians believe they had abandoned the castle, where the Prussians rushed in to capture it, and then the knights sprung their trap, killing many, and they sprung this exact same trap 3 times before abandoning the castle. However, not before they played one last trick, where they had an old blind man who was too sick to escape ring the bells daily for worship, making the Prussians believe they were still there. And when they finally caught on, the knights were long gone, and it had allowed them to gain valuable time to escape to nearby towns. The Prussians burnt down the castle, as they did with many in the area, as they didn't have the manpower to defend them or logistical efforts to supply them. However, the knights were back only a few years later as they put down the Prussian uprising, rebuilding many of the castles in the area that the Prussians had torn down.